There we go. Now we got it running right. Excuse me. Just getting everything lined out, guys. Okay, so that's got all that. We put my normal spiel in the chat and we'll get going. Alright, with that being said, let's jump into it. So this one, guys, mostly I wanted to go over the overall market, what it's looking like, what it could possibly do coming up, and just getting that mindset in what this week could have in store, because it's going to make a difference on what the market does, on what type of plays to look for. I do have a couple of stocks we can look at, but nothing concrete until we can see the pre-market, and then even then it'll probably be the first hour or two and see how the market reacts to what happened on Friday, and just go from there pretty much. With that being said, today we are going to use Webull, and I also am going to be using TradingView and the Selene Algo algorithm. For any one of these charting systems, and Webull is a broker also, there's a description and a link in the description down below. With the Webull one, you get free stocks if you sign up as their broker, but if not, you still can use them as a charting program. Selene Algo is having a discount right now. I'm not sure exactly how much it is, but in the link, it'll take you to it. You can check it all out. You can check out their Discord. CJ, the guy that runs it over there, you can look into all that. It's a pretty neat little setup they got, and hopefully I can show you a little bit about the algorithm here and how we can use it. Alright, so let's go back to Webull. And let's get started with the overall market, things like that. We'll also be using, let me see if I got it set up. No. Let me get it here, put in. Okay guys, this is the heat map for Friday. This is how Friday ended. We can see almost every sector is down, but there was a few little things of note, and most of them being with the new Omicron, I think is what they're calling it, variant out. It was a lot of COVID type plays, mostly things like Pfizer was up 6% on the day, and it had a pretty decent little run, but the overall winner, in my opinion, was Moderna. It was up 20.5%. We also had things like Netflix up almost a point and a half. So, you just got like the diagnostics, the healthcare sectors, the biotech, things like that up, while technology, communication services, consumer cylindrical, all that is just blood red. And we're not talking about it traded sideways or it went down a point or two. We can see Apple's down 3 points, Microsoft 2.5, Google 2.5, Nvidia 3.5. MasterCard, the financial market, got destroyed. Look, Visa down almost 3, MasterCard 4.5, Bank of America 4, JP Morgan 3, Wells Fargo was 5.5. Even Amazon, Tesla, stuff like that, the whole damn market went red. So what happened, right? Well, we come into the week. Let me scale this down a little bit. We come into the week looking like this right here. It was actually going up. It was looking pretty decent, but over Thanksgiving, we found out that not only was the new variant pretty strong in Africa, but it had left to the Asian markets, things like that. It hadn't hit Europe yet. I'm still not sure if it's in Europe yet. I don't think it is. But it scared a lot of people up. Certain places were locking down, flights being canceled. You could see I was actually at one point the day before Thanksgiving and on Thanksgiving looking at American Airlines. It was looking pretty good. It was up until we started getting reports of flights being canceled and whole nations being no travel. So travel restrictions set on them, things like that. And what it caused was the big gap down here. We sold off, and we can see that it looks pretty damn red. If we look at the 4 hour, okay, I'm just making sure we're all on the same page. If we look at the 4 hour, so I said the other day that it was kept hitting up against this resistance. I actually called it for this kind of double top, triple top area here. It actually took another day or two before it sold on off, and even sold off a little bit and tried to rebound before essentially selling off. So I thought it was going to rebound for another one, go back up to about 72 or 472, 473, and then get rejected again. But we got that news. I said then if it broke below this V here on this M, then it was coming on down to the 200. And sure enough, it broke below it. It didn't even stand a chance. It opened up that morning below it. And not only did it do that, but it broke below the 200, which means it's going to come on down. But we can see on the RSI is oversold. We can see the MACD looks like shit. The DMI looks like shit. So what does that mean? Is it going to come on down? To be honest, I don't know. It depends on how much fear is in the market. And right now, it's pretty good. If we look at come back to this 1 second. If we look at the VIX, it's called the Volatility Index, but it might as well be called the Fear Index, because every time there's any fear, the volatility spikes in it. We can see here that there's a lot of gap up, and we have an indecision candle here, this spinning top. We needed to make a decision, have a decision candle right afterwards. If not, it's going to be a lot of confusion. We don't know which way it's going to go. We can also see things like the fear greed index. If we look, if you remember last week, it was in the 80s. It even hit, I think, like 89 or 90 at one point, maybe even a little bit more than that. I don't really remember. But I know it was in the high 80s. And then right near the end of last week, or this week, whatever you want to call it, it started getting into the 60s. That's where you see the 64 and 69. See previous close 64. And then after Black Friday, all that, now we're at a 31. So there's a lot of fear in the market right now. The VIX shows that. The fear index shows that. The price of the dollar, gold, all that is showing a lot of fear in the market right now. The 10-year bonds, all that. So what does that mean? You know, I'm spouting off a lot of shit. What does it mean? Pull this back up. So the market could continue selling off. We could see it just get oversold on the RSI quite a while and keep selling off. The other choice is that we could see it pull back up, fill this gap up to about right in here-ish. So around this about 465-ish to about, I better quit clicking on it, 466, right? So we could see if it fill that gap up to there. If it does, I don't look for it to stay. It would probably do something similar to, let me get my polyline out here. So you'd see it pop back up to around this area, then sell back off, just like this. And so what does that mean, right? Well, overall, we will be getting higher lows and lower lows. That will not be good. I look for overall, before all this gets kind of settled and some of the fear leaves, we're going to see at least a 6% sell-off. That is going to be my positive guess. That's going to be my optimistic guess. We're going to see at least 6%, right? So that's what we're going to see. It actually probably look more like come back up, and then sell off, or it could do well, if this thing will click right, come back up and do the 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3, sell off. So we're looking at something like that. Or it could just say, the hell with that gap and come on down. Not all gap, most gaps get filled, but not all of them. And with the fear in the market, we could just see it sell right on off with smaller pullbacks and continue on down underneath this 200. Now, if we're talking about a 6% sell-off from where it was, we are roughly looking at what's the price on that? 442 area. So I think I said last week it was going to be around the 444 area. But if we're looking at that same sell-off from where we're at the 200, well, that's a different story. That we'll see around the 430, 429. Either one of those is possible, depending on what it does from here. Will it pull up? Will it continue to sell off? If we look at things like, well, let's take a look at the algorithm real quick. What does this say? Let's put it on, since we're looking at the longer time frames, let's start out here. We can see that on the trading view, it's not below the 200. That's because trading view doesn't account for, if you have it on extended, shows you the aftermarket and pre-market, the extended time. It doesn't take an account for that. Webull, if you have it on extended view, it takes an account for that. It adds that into the 200. And that's the reason why you see a little bit of difference. I usually tend to side on the Webull side, if I could talk right. It seems to be a little bit better for the way I trade. It seems to be hitting right on, while this seems to get close to when it comes to the 200. But overall, what is this saying, right? That's what matters. Well, until it breaks that 200, it's still technically in an uptrend, and we don't have we don't have the short signal yet. But if we look at the advanced, which will show you, it's a little bit more like the trend finder is more if you were like holding or looking for like a swing trade. The advanced, in my opinion, I like it. It'll give the short signals, but you still got to take other factors into account. In this case, you see we got the short signal here, but it really didn't do too much until we see the ADX break out right around here. And we're seeing a climb in the ADX. We're seeing these split with the red on top. I think this is going to continue down, at least in the pre-market. We'll have to see after that if it jumps up and we get this gap fill here. Really, it's anyone's guess on what it could do in the morning. Just depends on the fear, but the way it looks like it's going to continue on down. And it's not the only one, guys. QQQ, we look at the 4 hour, same way. It's not to the 200, but it's going to the 200 for sure. Now, whether or not it breaks below that or not, we'll have to see. We can see it bounced right off the trend line. If you include the candle, it's right above the trend line, or the wick. But it's below the 200. We don't have the short signal yet, all because of the VWAP and EMA line is still showing. Or sorry, not that. It's still in an uptrend. The EMA line and the VWAP is showing a short signal. The RSI is at 34, so it's right at the oversold level. The ADX is broken out. It's showing momentum to the downside. So all this, guys, is not boding well for this to pick back up in the morning. But, we'll see when we get there, right? We are still in an uptrend overall with it. It needs to break that 200 before we're no longer in an uptrend. In my opinion, we'll no longer be in an uptrend once it breaks below this yellow line. But it's still bullish until it breaks the 200. If we look at the overall day chart, if it breaks at 50, more than likely it's coming at least to the trend line, and it might even break the trend line and go to the 200. So we'll just have to see if it does that. From where it's at now, if it breaks it, we're looking at almost a 7%, so 6 to 7% on that one too. And then the great swing trading index of the last couple of months is IWM, or the Russell. We can see here in the purple lines that I have marked here and here, those are our outer limits. It's our topmost tier, our bottommost tier, but in the blue line is the trend channels. We can see that it's broken out of the 200. This was looking very bullish. We had our breakout, and then all this shit started happening, and we got our sell-off. I was hoping for a bounce off the 200, and it looked like we was going to get it until Black Friday, and then it sold off. So look for this to come on down too. Probably after it pulls up. I am pretty sure it's not giving me any signals now, did I? Yeah. Give it a second. There we go. So it's giving a short signal too. The RSI is well under. So unless there's just a lot of volatility and a lot of fear in the market again, it's probably going to pull back up. At least test the. If we can zoom in here. At least test the 15-day EMA, if not the 200. There we go. We can see on the Weeble chart here, I have it marked right in here. I believe that it could pull up, get rejected in this area, and sell on off. And like I said, unless there's a lot of volatility in the market and a lot of fear, that's more likely what's going to happen. It's going to pull up, get rejected in this area, come on off. This could be a good time to set up and short these indexes, guys. They could pay off pretty decent. What you need to worry about, and I've showed you on the Russell and this one, and if we look at the QQQ2, this, especially on the Russell and the SPY, this little gap up and gap down and then the gap fill, that is going to trap a lot of bulls. You're going to see it spike back up. Some people are going to get very excited, thinking, oh, the market's going to stay bullish. It's going to come up, it's going to fill that gap, get rejected, and trap a lot of bulls. And I can show you a little bit of proof of that if it stays the same. Let me get through this, guys, and then I'll take some of y'all's tickers and stuff here. So if we come to here, let me make sure we're up to date on it. So max pain is the amount that it would have to close at for the most amount of puts and calls at the same to finish worthless, to expire worthless. So it's good to know that the max pain is at 468, which kind of bodes a little bit of well for our pull up. But here's what I want to show you: is these walls put up on the volume and open interest. Let's go with open interest. So if we look at the nearest walls, where's the price right now? Let me double check that. 458 on the SPY. So let's go to 458 is right here at this little spot, if you can see it. So the nearest put wall is at 455 here, 463 on either side of it, and we don't have a call wall until 474, which bodes well for it to pull up for any options expiring by the end of the week. Don't look for it to go all the way back up to 474. I think that's too much, but I could see it pulling up to around this 463 area, maybe even 464, trapping a lot of the put options in that, expiring those worthless, getting a lot of call options, and then selling back off. So that's some things to look at, is these option walls and things like that. We know that most options expire worthless, so keeping that in mind, the market wants to be at those areas. Now whether or not it makes it there, that's a different question altogether. We can see that the indices, every one of them sold off and sucked really bad. If we come to our PARF guys here, every one of them sold off at the end of the day, except for, if I can get it to show there. Anyway, that's the energy. If it would just show. Financials and real estate. So energy, financials, and real estate. If we look at the snaps here and go through them, we can see real estate was up the most on the day at 1.34%. Financials are actually down, even though they did spike up a little bit at the end, but it shows you how much they could have been even more down. And the energy is up almost a point altogether, right? Or percent. So, what does that mean? What are you going to do? For me, I'll be watching the SPY for any signals to see if it's going to sell off, stay the same. If it pulls up, I will be watching for that rejection and getting in there. I'll be watching the VIX, and I will be watching the US dollar index, DXY. We can see it hit my last price targets. If you're new to my channel, my white lines are always my price targets. But it hit those. If it gets rejected, let's see, RSI is at 42. It might pull up a little bit and test the 15 again. But if it gets rejected and falls under this 50, I will be getting puts. It will be coming down a few dollars. Probably at least to the trend line, possibly the 200. So overall, let me take a look and see what you guys have. Any questions that you have about anything I've said? Is there anything else I can go over? I'll look at any tickers you guys have, and then I'll show you a couple that I've been looking at. But again, guys, this is all going to matter what the market does come tomorrow. Watch your pre-markets. Watch your stocks that are rising. Watch the sectors that are rising. Keep an eye on the SPY and IWM. See what they do. And your VIX. Excuse me, still sick a little bit. Alright, so with that being said, let me check you guys out. Yeah, I was looking at materials and stuff like that. There's a lot of sectors, including this, that got hit. Yeah. It's got the gap down, too. We can see that it, at one point, was as low as almost 27.50. I was looking at my Cleveland Cliffs, CLF. It done the same. We got that gap down and X. If we come over to, because it's easier to pull up on it. I'll get it right in a sec, guys. Excuse me. Look at that. That is crazy. If we put the tool on here from the 15 down to where it's at now. Well, where it's at now is up here. But that's 9%. But where it was at one point, if I can get it on there and see it, 13%. But oil is looking like, I don't think it's going to go bullish, but I don't think it's going to continue selling off at this level. We can see these white candles here are the RSI. It's showing how it's showing that it's oversold right now. It's at 30 or lower. I believe that it's going to pull back up and test at least the 15, if not the 50, before it gets sold off. We still have a lot of momentum in the, I'll get it right here in a second. A lot of momentum here in the 80X, but we are extended away from the 15. If you follow things like the Bollinger Bands, things like that, you know, an extension away from the 20 moving average usually tends that it wants to pull back to it, especially when it reaches the outer Bollinger Bands. But we can tell as extended this is, it's hitting those outer Bollinger Bands. I don't even got to pull it up to tell you that it's overextended. It is going to pull back. The only question is it going to stop at the 15 and get rejected, or the 50? So yeah, there's a few markets got hit really bad. Okay, he's saying that Europe does have a few cases. So usually, so far, every, including COVID, the original COVID virus itself, all that, As soon as it's hit Europe, it's been no time it's been in America. Okay, so let's talk about some stocks that did well Friday, why they did well, and are they going to continue to do well? First off, let me make sure I still have this because I was messing with it earlier. Yeah, but that's long. Okay, so Moderna is in an uptrend overall. It's long right now. It is showing some of a pullback. We are seeing it just now starting to climb back up. We got to see what the pre-market is going to hold for it. If there's still a lot of fear dealing with the Omicron variant, stuff like that, look for this to probably spike up a little bit. But overall, it needs to break this pivot point here. It needs to break over it, or it's going to get rejected there and come on down. Get rid of this. There we go. So in the 4 hour, the longer time frame, we're above the 200, but is it going to be the breakout we need? Well, we had the 15 over 50. We know that that's one of my favorite setups, is when the 15 is over the 50 and the price is just starting to get over the 200. We usually see a pullback to the 200 to the 15 and a bounce. ADX is showing that there is a lot of momentum going that way. We do have our lines separated and spiked. They are green. They are showing momentum. Good for it. But we are on this oversold and we are pulled far away. Again, going back to the Bollinger Bands, if you follow that stuff, we are extended. We are going to pull back some. Unless we just get something running wild, this will pull back before it continues on. But overall, this is looking like, at least in the longer term, I don't know about in the next day or two, but in the longer term, over like the week, 2 weeks, this is probably going to continue up as long as that Omicron fear is there. PFE struggled a little bit Friday, but overall it was up, it stayed up, and it was looking good. We can see again with it, it's overextended. The RSI is overextended. It needs to pull back and cool off. Will it hold? Let's go to 15 minutes. So we can see here that it's starting to gather, come back. We can see it starting to consolidate here. Here's where we want to watch for the breakout. What's it going to do from here? If it continues below this 50, it's going to pull back. This is the pullback we was talking about on the longer time frame. This is more than likely what it's going to do. You're going to see a good pullback and then before it takes off. Or the next thing is probably consolidate until everything cools off and catches up. I'm leaning more toward the pullback, but it could consolidate. But what you want to wait for and look for is the breakouts. If it breaks below this yellow line, it's coming on down to the 200, guaranteed. If it breaks above this orange line, it is going to make a new higher high, and it's probably going to stair step or ABC its way up, continued up, lightning strike up, whatever you want to call it. So these are two stocks you definitely want to keep an eye on. Newegg, we can see here it shot up. It's come down, it's right in this 15, but let me bring you over to the Weeble chart. We can see right here that It is having trouble getting over this 21. Well, let me actually adjust this a little bit. I'm going to put this in a box, actually. So between this $20 to $20.91 area, it's having trouble getting out of that. But we are having an ascending triangle. So we have the 15 over 50 split. There, so y'all can see it a little bit better. So we have the 15 over 50 split. It's riding up the 15, but we can't break out. We see that it tried to here, but it didn't quite make it, and it looks like our next candle, it's probably going to be a good one and probably continue on up. This will be our breakout. Look for a retest and continuation on. I believe Newegg is going to be a good one to watch over this week. We just have to wait and see if the market is going to be bullish toward anything, really. But the RSI is looking a little bit good. It's not completely oversold yet, but it's right there at it, or overbought. The MACD is looking good. All that is DMI is looking good. Our 15-minute, we have our flag, a bull flag coming out. Again, it's consolidating a little bit, looking to take off. It's wanting to break out here. Oust is another one I will be watching. We have our 15 on the Black Friday day. We have our 15 over 50 split. It is up. It consolidated out. I will be watching this one to see if we get our breakout to the top or to the bottom. In my opinion, this 15 is going to come over this 200. We're going to see this price pull back to the 50 and a bounce. If it's going to stay bullish, that's what to look for. Our MACD is going a little bit bearish, but I think that's more for the pullback that I'm talking about. The DMI is still showing some good bullish momentum toward it, so we just have to wait and see it plays out. But I'm guessing in the morning, in the pre-market, we're going to see it pull back to that 50, and if it bounces there, it'll stay bullish. If it comes back under, it's probably going to go bearish. Somebody was asking me about Clove. Clove is another one to watch, but we can see that it got overextended. It needed to pull back to the 50, and from here again, we're going to have to wait and watch what it does. It needs to break up and get above this 200 and stay above it before it can do anything. If it doesn't, it's going to get rejected, and it's not even going to come down enough for put options, so I won't be playing it at all. Let's look at our Reddit darlings. I'm sorry about my nose and stuff, guys. I am just so stopped up today. AMC. We can see that it sold off, but it come back up, it bull flagged out, it consolidated out. The DMI is showing bullish momentum. The MACD is undecided. It's more on the bullish side right now, but we don't have no clear breakout. And the RSI is showing some good momentum to it. Now, let's take a look at it using the algo. Again, guys, with this algorithm, if you're interested in it, taking a look at it, anything like that, there's a link in the description down below. It's the Trading Collective. Check it out. If you use that link, you get a discount. Give it a second. So we're getting a cautious long signal here. That's what it shows when it's yellow. So if you're a little bit on the riskier side, you can play it, and then, or you can watch it and look for the ADX breakout and see what it does. If I was to play this one, because it's in the downtrend on the 15 minute, I would be playing it to the 200. If it got rejected at the 200, I would be out. If it broke over, I would hold and see. But the way this is setting up, like we could be getting that setup I like with the 15 over 50 and then the price coming above it, retesting and bouncing. So this could be our reversal coming. This could be our breakout coming. There's some good signals pointing toward that way. We just have to wait and see if it plays out. Let me check you guys again here. Yes, I'll check out those stocks. Let me write them down here. Really? Okay, I see what you're saying. Let me check it. Do. So let me check here. Uh, da, 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 da. Okay. Mine's showing, the charts are showing good on mine when I'm pulling it up on YouTube. Is it still showing smaller for you? Okay, I see what you're saying. Yep, good to go. Okay, we're good. Alright, let me check out these stocks here. LHDX. Nice breakout. The volume's a little low on it, but we do have a nice breakout on it. It's up 15% the last trading day, but it come back down. Oh, it only come back down 1%. That's well within a good range, so that's good. Yeah, we have the 15 over 50 split, the 200. The MACD is looking a little weak, but that could just be a pull out or pull up. The DMI is still showing pretty decent momentum. Let me check it out on TradingView. LHDX. Yeah, see, it's giving us the cautious long signal, and that's probably yeah, that's probably because of this slope in the ADX lines, the kind of like MACD lines here. I believe, see how extended this is on this 15? I believe you're going to see a pullback. And from the looks of it, it's probably only going to pull back to the 15. You might see a slight dip below it and then a bounce, but just the way this is looking, and like I said, it's just a guess, but you are going to see it pull back to here and then bounce like that. All over the map now. But it's going to do something similar to that. But again, it is a little bit low volume, so be careful because they can gap and move really quick. What is the RSI on this? Oh, get off of there. 62, yeah, so you're probably looking at a pullback. Yeah, that's probably what it's going. It's probably going to pull back to the 15 and bounce there. So like I said, just watch the low volume on it because it can gap and stuff like that. But LHDX is looking pretty decent. Let me put that on my watch list in the morning. And we'll take a look at it then too. The other one was APD. APT, I meant to say. Yeah, good. We got the split. The price is over 200. It's bullish. It come up 25% since the close of last trade day, mostly due to this gap, but we can see it's a little harder to see on this one. But we have this ascending triangle on this one too. Whenever I get these triangles on this, even though ascending triangle is a bullish pattern, I always wait for the breakout. Look to see if it breaks below this trend line, and mostly that 50. If it does, it's going to pull on back to the 200. But if you get this breakout above the 691 and it come back, retests and bounces, you're probably looking at this continue on. Now this has got a lot better volume. You're at 11 million. The free float is low, so this one will definitely be one to watch in the morning. There's one, guys, that oh sorry, there's what I'm looking at there. I thought I had it over. Sorry. So you got the ascending triangle. Just look for the breakout to the bottom for it to be bearish, or a breakout to the top and a bounce to be bullish. At 691. That's where you want to see it break above and then bounce. There is one that I've been hearing rumblings about, and that is DNOW. Now, as far as I know right now, this is more of a technical play. I've not seen anything yet that's showing me that it's in reversal or anything. We do have, as of right now, a higher low here, right? We have our sell-off starting to consolidate a little bit, and we have a higher low here. But those are some pretty big indecision candles. I mean, they've gone both ways. You have a bottom hammer on one of them and a top doji on the other one, so you know it hasn't made a choice yet. So look for a clear, solid candle going bearish or bullish to see which way this might trade. But overall, this is one I'm going to put on my weekly watch list and watch it over the next couple of weeks to see if it turns bullish. If we're looking at, here we go. If we're looking at the 4 hour, the longer time frame, we can see how the S-shaped out of here. It looks to be bouncing off this 200. If we get a clear bounce off of it, I think that this one could do decent. I mean, I don't think we're going to see 4x or anything right now, but it's probably going to do pretty decent. So keep this one in mind. Keep it on your watch list. It is D now. Let me pull it up on Weeble too so we can take a look at it there. So here's what I'm talking about with the bounce off the 200. We get a clear bounce there. Also on the 15. We can see right now we do have a higher low, but those are indecision candles, so we need to make a choice to see what it's going to do. The 80X is showing bearish. It's not breaking out yet, but it is showing pretty bearish to consolidating movement right now, which that's good. On a sell-off, you want the sell-off, the consolidation, and then the reversal. So if we go to Weeble and take a look, it's pretty much the same play, but whereas on the other one we had, it looked like it was going to be a clear bounce. We can see on this one, the way that it's pulled up and the way it's looking, it hasn't made its choice yet on what it wants to do. So look for it to give it that clear choice to see what it wants to do. Does it want to go bullish? Does it want to bounce here? Or is it going to continue to sell off? We need that doji candle to be a decision-made candle. Yeah, I caught that a little bit too late. That was my bad. But overall, what I'm going to do in the morning is, let me check something out here real quick. What I'm going to do in the morning is I'm going to be watching the pre-market, watch for most percentage changed, and see how they stack up to my MA lines, see what's looking bullish. But before we close it up, let's take a look at a couple of the ones in the after-hour markets that is looking bullish as of right now, that has the highest percentage gains, right? We'll run a couple of these down, and then we'll call it a night. So ADN, Advent. We can see as of right now it's starting to sell off. We do have a good green candle here, but can that be the reversal we're looking for? It's looking like it's in a reversal right now. We have bullish divergence in the RSI. The MACD's turning around. And the DMI is not showing a lot of bullish momentum to the upside, but we are getting that cross in the D plus and D minus signals here. The 15 is kind of the same way. So in my opinion right now, ADN is at the start of a reversal. Can it continue on? We'll just have to wait and see. OCGN. Same thing, we had to sell off. We have a little bit of a cup. We almost have like a miniature cup and handle here, look. We got the cup, we got the start of the handle, but does it want to bounce? I don't know. This would be the perfect place to do it right off that 15. So we have the 15, the 50, and this support all converging at the same spot. We have the MACD bullish, the RSI is good, and the DMI is looking like it's got a lot of bullish momentum too. So look for this one, but be careful. It can still get rejected at that 200. We want to see it cross above, but maybe what we're seeing here is fear in the market, and then them realizing that they probably either shouldn't have sold, or the bulls or the bears coming. Sorry, the bulls coming back in, realizing it was at a decent deal already. Can't talk. You can hear me going hoarse. we can get rid of all this funky looking jazz right now. So we can see on the longer time scale here, OCGN, if it's going to pull back up, it's actually not too bad of a time to do it. Even if it don't go bullish, you're still looking at it like a $2 gain there. You're starting to see a theme in all these that sold off. They're all ones that are doing good in the aftermarket. They're all ones that have sold off quite a bit, and they're at such a good deal that people are willing to buy and hold on to them. There's not much more they can sell off. That's the theme we're seeing in the ones that are spiking up in the after hours so far. See again, it's already sold off quite a bit. It's at a sweet deal, so they're picking up that because it's not a bad time to pick up something and hold it. Pick up something that's already sold off, you know what I'm saying? MAT, same thing. I need to clean this chart up some. It's already pretty low. We do have a higher low here. Moderna is the exception to that rule. See, sold off. So that's what the market is right now. It's so fearful that it's looking for deals that it wouldn't mind holding on to. They're picking up stocks that they said, well, I'll pick them up if they look good or if they get cheap enough to where I wouldn't mind holding on to it for a little while. Those are the plays we had. It shows you the mindset that the market's in right now. So we just have to see what the pre-market looks like. We have to see what the first hour trading looks like. I'm probably not going to do a trade at all, at least until 10 to 10:45, to see what the market does. Alright guys, so that's got everything I can think of right now. We just have to wait and see what the market does in the morning. Like I said, I'm going to give it the first little bit just to see how it shapes up, and then I'm going to play day trades and weekly short swing trades. I'm not going to do anything long right now because I'm pretty sure anything long right now is going to get caught in a bull trap, especially in your technology sectors. Excuse me. Anything that's not a medical stock or a COVID play is going to be in a bull trap right now. Possible bull trap right now. So we'll wait and see what the fear does in the market. Is it going to continue to sell off, or is it going to pull up and then pull back again? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm not sure if I'm even going to put out a watch list tomorrow. I may put out a couple of some of the like healthcare stocks and maybe COVID stocks, and just kind of give a warning. You know, watch out. The market can turn at the drop of a hat. So guys, hit that like button, subscribe button if you appreciate what I'm doing. Follow us on Twitter. I put a lot of news and stuff there. And guys, I've got some cool stuff, in my opinion, that I'm going to be bringing to the community soon. I hope you guys will like it. I think it's going to be a very useful tool for all of us to use in trading for ourselves and to help each other trade and things like that. So, guys, we'll see you in the morning. You guys have a great night. Bye.